Hi, everybody, and welcome to our review of Jehry Robinson's new album, 2020, Chapter 1, the EP. That's the full title as I found it online. This is the Headspace Podcast, the show where we break down new hip hop projects track by track, including stuff like Jehry Robinson's 2020, Chapter 1, EP. My name is Holden Stephan Roy.
My name is Chris Chrome.
And I'm back, and I'm excited to go through this project track by track with y'all. And I haven't even fucking touched YouTube stuff myself much in the last 2 weeks, so I am all sorts of refreshed and in it to win it and stuff. Anyhow, there's literally nothing that came out this week that we could find, so obviously something came out. We didn't find it because I looked at all the websites I know to look up where all the underground shit comes from, and it's like, everybody knows everybody's recovering this week, and nobody wanted to deal with releasing albums except for the other guy we're going to talk about this weekend. That's not Jehry Robinson and his 2020 Chapter 1 EP album.
Chief Keef also dropped an album
Did
on
he?
January 1st.
Because I couldn't find it online. I saw
Mansion
I looked that up on Spotify. It wasn't there. Otherwise, we would be talking about Chief Keef this weekend. But maybe,
I was for sure thinking that was him.
I know I saw that it was supposed to come out. I couldn't find it. Either way, this is like a dead season. So we're doing an album that I missed while I was ignoring the world, enjoying time off for a minute. And the homeboy Dan Craze showed up in the Facebook messages and today and told me this guy dropped a project. So figure we look at it and we give it a little shot, and the lyrics were there, and it was 4 songs. I felt like we could squeeze in an extra little review, just a little squeeze in there. Anyway, I have a lot more to say here. There was no good comments on last week's video related to the interview. There was one asking where the K Reno review is, and that's like half the lyrics aren't up, so I'm no longer a transcriber. I decided it's just too much time. The other one was requesting we do some Roxanne Shante next Ladies album in Classic Quest. I think we just might. That's a good idea. So there you go. We read them, but that was all that we got, and it wasn't related to the review. So that's sad. Sadness. But we want your comments, so we'd love to hear what you have to say. What you think of Jehry Robinson. Anyway, special thanks in advance to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prater, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane, Lindo, Williams, Coney, Sparks, and Scribble. We'll touch on that at the end. In the meantime,
I just wanted to quickly say I hope everybody did have a wonderful holidays and a happy new year.
That's true.
I know I sort of kind of fucked up without saying it for anybody on the Cameron review that I did before the holidays.
There's no fucking up. People could be watching this any time of the year.
Fair enough, but if you are watching this, happy new year to everybody and bless 2020.
I'm also maybe an inconsiderate person. So Chris, what album are we reviewing today?
So for this week's Headspace review,
it's a little bonus episode,
we went with Jehry Robinson's new EP, 2020, Chapter 1.
EP. And I love how it's stylized. And we're starting with the title right away. It's 20/TWENTY. So it's 2020.
Yep.
But he's being a little creative with it. And Chapter 1, because in the strange music line, because this is a strange music album. Strange. That's what we're starting off. This is the first video we're releasing this year, and it's going to strange music.
I'm happy.
So that's what's going on, and I don't know. Hopefully you watch it, Mr. Jehry Robinson. That would be a really awesome first choice of the year. If you want to do an interview, homeboy, let us know. I followed you on Twitter, HSR514. We could talk. And then I don't know anything about him, honestly, except that when I put on that little album to give it a little playthrough before I made my final decision, I said, yep. And that's about my whole understanding of him. I looked him up, trying to find a page about him, and I did. Somewhere ducked down in something is a bio describing his ability. He sold 4,000 units hand to hand.
Nice.
That's some ridiculously. Very few people can pull that off in this day and age. So respect, my friend. This album's also produced by Seven. If you know me, you know I kind of like Seven as a producer. He's pretty fucking good, and I was very curious. Plus, I know this technically came out December 27, 2019, but as far as like year-end list stuff can go, everybody would include this on their 2021 because it came out at the end of the year.
Right.
Why don't the year-end list come out in January when the year ends? Why do they all come out in December? That's stupid. That's just something I wanted to complain about as a tangential point. What are your thoughts on that, people? Because then, like, this album couldn't have got included because everybody's list was already published.
I feel like the idea behind it is when they do those type of lists, it's a lot of like just the mainstream, kind of like
It's everybody.
a lot of like just the big heavy hitters who've dropped.
Well, even to that end, what if Eminem dropped an album yesterday or 4 days ago, whenever the fucking December was, right? That because we're in January now.
Yeah, January 3rd, so 4 days ago works.
It's fine. And then, oh shit, that would have probably been an amazing album for 2019. But it wouldn't have been on anybody's list until the next year. I mean, everybody would have to be like, there should have been on my 2019 list, but, which I hear in everybody's list whenever they cover last year's song. This is just my little, this has nothing to do with Jehry Robinson. If you're watching this, sir, this is what our show's like. So typically, the how and why we review people. Dude, hit me up on Facebook. Guy's a legitimate dude. He doesn't steer us wrong. In the past, whenever conversations we've had, Strange Music, it's a label that usually attracts the more lyrical side of people. So hopefully it all works out and people care about what we think. I'm in a weird mood. I haven't done this in a couple weeks. It feels
I
great.
felt on Classic Quest when I did that.
Anyhow, why don't we just migrate into the... You don't know who Jehry Robinson is before today?
I have no idea who he is before today, but I do just want to talk a little bit about the cover. I like the style of it. I like how it's kind of got like that white on gold contrast, which is really cool. I like the idea of 2020, kind of like 2020 vision, like he's kind of like foreseeing some things to happen in his career. I like how... I found it a little bit funny how we picked an album that started in 2020, Chapter 1. Like, we're starting off the year with
that was
this.
a coincidence.
So that was really cool to me as well. But I also feel like he's really trying to set his bar, I think, for this year with this EP. So that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit.
I like how it's a rib cage in gold. Like, his foundation is solid. That's what I took from that. Plus, I have to admit, the simple white album cover feels a bit throwbacky to, like, a cooler, simpler time of album covers. Makes me think of, like, a Biggie one or whatever. I don't know. That was it. The title's fine. I'm just hoping we're not going to get a lot of 2020 puns this year in our titles because 2020 vision. Like, okay, well, it's fine. I accept it's quirky and clever because he dropped it at this time, but yes, your version of the vision and stuff is really cool, but it a little bit in my soul feels gimmicky. Like, oh shit, we're dropping this around New Year's, so may as well. However, I accept vision thing. Your version's nice. Album starts off with gas in the tank. I like this. I do have to get this out of the way. It literally starts off criticizing other rappers. Classic independent underground move. It is what it is. I'm not certain why every underground rapper feels the need to take shots at people who do drugs that they don't do. That's fine, but everyone does it. It's almost like you can't be an underground rapper without saying some shit like, yo, these dudes got too much lean in their soda. By the time they start, the beat's over. That's a good line, though. Like, I have to give him credit. Like, if you are going to criticize other rappers, we weren't expecting this. If you are going to criticize other rappers, at least make, like, a valid criticism. Like, it slows them down, so it's ad-libs for, like, 32 bars. But that's, like, a fair criticism.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. See, these record labels meet quotas, so I'm just here to keep focus. And I'm like, all right, he's always justifying that the system's kind of fucked up and corrupt in its way.
But that's what I like about it, right? So when it starts off, I was like, okay, you're going at these type of rappers that I guess I would consider like mainstream right now, what is like popular. But I like how he's kind of connecting it to the record labels alluding to that record labels are feeding, let's call them kids or call them people, just these drugs and these narcotics to keep them making this type of music that everybody else wants to hear. So I do like how he's doing that, but I wanted to mention something about like being the underground rapper or whatnot. I feel like it's a little bit, I want to say cliche that they all do that, kind of like...
Everybody does it. I don't get it.
But so my theory is that you can't be the underdog without... You can't be the underdog without placing yourself in that position. So when you take your division, when you kind of look at the people who are at the top, right, and they're all a bunch of like lean sipping rappers, let's call them, in context of what he's saying, like he's using that to divide that, like, yo, y'all are praising them, but we're the real ones out here who are doing the real shit.
But what is the real shit? Are the guys that are making a bunch of records sipping lean actually not doing the making?
I don't think it's about like the authenticity of not doing it. I think it's more just like, so I want to connect it to Joyner Lucas, how he was like speaking upon Juice WRLD's death with the whole like, this is like drug culture and this is what hip hop's starting to come into and all this stuff. And I feel
starting to come into. I know that in 2000,
really wrongly, of course,
or whatever, I take a couple uppers, I down a couple downers, but nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills.
I agree.
I mean, like, I'm just going to throw it out there that these problems are not new to hip-hop. They're just more mainstream because it's like the current state of drug use in America has a lot more opiates in a spotlight kind of way. So it's like everyone's allowed to be on it in a way where nobody thought it was cool before. But it's also not that different than everybody rapping about doing blow, getting smashed, and proceeding to smoke fat blunts. See, all of these things are exactly the same. And if you do one of those things, I don't think Jehry does it on this project. So I don't remember him actually talking about consuming an excessive amount of narcotics. So again, if you're watching this, Mr. Robinson, it's not directed towards you. It is, however, a commentary on how the underground is taking shots at specific things that are just like, honestly, stylistic. It's like chopped and screwed shit back in the day was probably really good on lean. I can't fucking stand it personally. It's not really, well, not that I can't stand it, I just don't like it. But I'm just saying, like, there's so much of a correlation between different drugs having different effects and whatnot. But all I'm saying is, with the amount of intoxicants promoted by so many people, that they go in like they're doing too much lean, like that's fucking up hip hop. That's what's fucking it up. Maybe it's just an idea. It's because instead of coming up with really revolutionary commentary on like the state of things and what's actually going on in the world, like we're literally on the brink of a world war, possibly, depending on what Iran decides to do next. Like the mayor of New York today said, yo, some shit could go down. You don't hear about that in any of these lines. So I'm just giving some suggestions to the underground. Like, you're not really solving the problem, because when you go listen to the lean sipping rappers, I'm sorry this is such a tangent, but it's been a minute. When you go listen to the lean sipping rappers, what do they rap about? How they're the best, how they're on the grind, how they're making money, when you go listen to these independent guys, what is the fucking chorus of the next track about? How this guy's making a bunch of money.
I mean,
it's literally...
Well, no. We'll talk about it on the next track, but to preface it... Fuck. So the next track is about them being clear on that they're doing it for the money, that they're not doing it for the respect. It's more like...
Which is exactly what the lean sipping rappers are doing, and they're hitting... These guys hit a bunch of white kids that like fast rap. That's what Strange Music does.
Right.
The other guys hit a bunch of white kids that like other painkillers and
but
shit.
I think, okay, but if we're, okay. So,
everybody here is going after white kids like fucking crazy.
Which I agree, but I'm saying, when you listen to the lean sipping guys, I don't feel like it's a vibe, and I listen to it, and I bump to it as well, but I also... I also kind of understand like there's not much substance to that besides.
Not always. There's sometimes, dude. Like honestly, Future has some fucking great tracks. I mean, there's some substance. Let's talk substance then, because I don't want to be like a hater here. Jehry Robinson raps fucking tight. The beat is fucking tight. Seven did a great job. The way he flips into the melodic singing hook, the bridge, everything there. Oh my gosh! At first I was like, Then though I really listened to the vibe, and basically what he does is a hybrid of a lot of pop styled sounds on that hook to get you really engaged in, because you're actually sitting there singing along. You're like. Everyone know we were developed already. You're just sitting there fucking, like, I'm doing a terrible job on camera, but you're just sitting there vibing to it. And the way he does the verses is versatile. Like, every time you're hearing him on a different part of the song, it's like a totally different Jehry. And on that front, actually really fucking good. Like, really, as a performer, as everything, like, I want y'all to understand, I gave this shit a 4.35, because all of the shit about Jehry's real good. Until we get down to the actual content level, where I'm like, strange, because like everybody we've reviewed on this label basically will say the same thing. Everybody that's an underground fast rapper, So when they let me steer, I reached over, I grabbed the fucking wheel and killed Bodas. You killed the culture, at least you're the culprit. I would never sign a deal with you vultures. That shot at the labels in the industry is actually mad fair content. Respect, I accept that. But to allude that the guy is trying to get out of a situation in life by making a bunch of music, maybe they're caught up in a lifestyle addicted to promethazine because of young choices at 14 years old and shit. Like, come on, there's so much like nuanced empathy we could have for a situation as somebody who's hooked on fucking codeine and other such painkillers, as opposed to just shitting on them, honestly, every single time. So what really redeems this for me is his attack on the label situation.
But I have a question about that. Now, correct me, please, if I'm wrong, but isn't Tech 9 kind of like, in some way, a label? Like Strange and all of that?
It's independent in
we've
the
had
creative,
the conversation
but it's
of the industry game.
So if the song was fuck the industry entirely, I would say you're right. But when he goes, these record labels meet quotas, he's talking about the majors and a creative front where I would argue that Strange Music isn't 1,000% different.
Okay.
Because it really often behaves like a label, like a major, because of the amount of money rolling through it. But from a creative standpoint, I do believe that Tech and the other dude are totally willing to let people come up with the sounds that they want to come up with, rather than it all sugarcoating it. On the other hand, Tech only signs guys that sound like this, with limited exceptions in my little experience. I mean, I haven't heard a lot of dudes that don't ultimately have verses that sound like this on Strange.
Right.
There are other guys, like Murs. I don't know who else. But yeah. You guys can let me know in the comment. Murs and Says Crew, I find, are the only ones that I've heard that are a little bit on their own, like, things. Like, they have other shit to say. Fair.
Murs, we reviewed countless albums already. He's got a lot of shit to say, and he's very creative. I really do appreciate Murs. But I do agree that, like, Stevie Stone, King ISO, and all of that.
Yeah, they're all fast.
They're all fast and wicked great.
They all say shit like, I would never sign a deal with you vultures, 100 racks in the bank, yeah, I got gas in the tank, yeah, I just know how to go a little harder, so we made a little product and we started from the bottom. It's not that anything's inherently wrong with that. It's just, I feel like there's nothing new here for me as a reviewer. As a fan, I'm vibing in this track, but I'm not connecting with it at any fundamental level, because it's just another guy that like made it like this, to this tier, and saying the same kind of generic shit mainstream rappers say. And again, if you're watching this, Mr. Robinson, I think you're dope, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to give like my honest opinion on this. Like solo shows that feel more throwback to the real ones, the day ones, but some can ride through. And I like that idea that it's not just the day ones, like he lets other people in. That's a really cool concept because it's more honest than the idea that only your day ones are going to be around.
Well,
But
again, I've said this many times. The idea of a day one is not somebody you've been there since birth, because that's not going to happen.
Since the beginning of your grind.
Right. Well, not even the grind. It's the way I look at it as I've been grinding for X amount of years, but I've only known you for, let's say, 5. There is X, like you, but I was
And
still.
if you were to have success now, it would start at that point, and everybody there's a day one.
Well, no, because
If you all of a sudden made $1 million today, or $100,000, we could start talking about your day ones. Until then, nobody's coming at you for meal tickets.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the
But
way I look at day ones is like it's somebody who has kept it real with you since the beginning of that relationship. So if like,
But again, you don't have the kind of money and shit going on in your life that will have people acting that kind of funny with you.
but I mean, you can also do it just with like regular relationships and friendships and shit, and just like, you know, I have my people who've been my friend, who've been there for me.
It's not the same thing as having $1 million business that you built on my iPhone. I thought that was a cool concept too.
I did like that concept.
I
as
like
well.
the fact that you're just being legit with tech and like, yo, you don't need anything fancy. You got the shit on your pocket, run. Then when I listened, I told him I'm an icon back when I was broke and I still needed a ride home. I appreciate that sentiment too. And a lot of this verse is like mostly it's just like the industry didn't want me and now I'm strange. I'm like, and then the chorus is fine, man. I like I'm gonna be the one who sees the lies, who will always testify. That sounded pretty proper. I respected that. Then second verse, man, I come from New York, never disrespect the Lord. All I know is if I lose another cousin, I'm gonna go shoot up the hose in that big pharma. I was like, hey, that was the best bars on the song, because the fact that he comes in and recognizes the fact that like Xannies and shit are such a plague and the scourge and pointing at the actual villain. Woof. Followed up with your boy looking fresh now. Shout out my barber. Fuck around with tech now. I can feel the starter. Okay. I wish you would have stuck with the more political, because the barber line just makes me think of Gucci Mane. No, because he got that $500 haircut, and then he put it on Instagram and made more money on it. If I'm being honest, I don't even want it. All I ever really wanted was to be an artist, trying to kill these snakes off. Ricky Tikki Tavi. Bitch, I'm a problem twisted in the noggin. This is just a project, bitch. I'm a product. Become a superhero. I'm going to sign a deal with Marv. I'm like, what? Sigh. Okay. Like, again, I know it comes off a certain way when I'm saying this, but, like, the truth of the matter is, from a content perspective, there's not a lot, like, spectacular here outside of the fact that he's rapping it at a quick pace and it's super engaging to listen to. But when you really break it down from, like, the distinction point of view, from the, whoa, I haven't really heard this before point of view, he's saying a lot of the generic underground fast guy bars with some interesting twists mixed in. So it's better than other. This is much better than a lot of the versions of this I heard in 2019. This is one of my favorite guys who rap fast I've come across so far, in light of the negative tones that are probably being perceived and how I'm coming off here. I like the third verse though. Can't nobody hide the rice to my soul. I can feel the cold go right through my coat. Middle of the winter, no lights on the road. Ain't nobody cooking dinner. This ice on my toes. Desert Eagle in the safe. Yeah, in case somebody want to hate. And I like that because it's in the safe, and that's such a respectable use of gun. Like if you have a gun, don't leave it around randomly. Mm-hmm. Keep it in a safe so kids and shit don't fucking blast themselves and whatnot. So I respect his like respectableness to it. But again, it's he's one of those pure dudes who's coming through, grinding really hard. I don't know if there's anything else in the third verse that really like had me coming in. I know he repeats the beginning part again and then like slams in at the labels. And overall, I thought it was an engaging, catchy, fun to listen to, 4.35 quality song. Sorry if you do watch this, but I personally desire more than hearing about other dudes struggle, but without like real solutions or applications put in. So I hear a lot about how he's kind of got some stuff, goes gas in the tank, he's grinding on, but like I start to ask myself, like, what do these things really mean when everybody's saying it? When everybody's saying it, what does it really mean anymore? Anyway,
No, it makes sense. It's interesting to think like that, like, because when I first read the title "Gas in the Tank," I automatically kind of felt like you're just gonna floss on how good you are. Now, I'm not saying that this is a fluffy floss song, but it's like I feel like he is kind of saying like, I got the gas in the tank. I'm king shit. I got the better bars or whatnot. But you're right though. Like, what does it truly mean if everybody's saying it? That's very interesting to think of.
On the other hand, he's signed to Strange Music and probably will have a much more successful career with music than I will. I acknowledge that, but I don't want to make generic shit. So,
Fair. I gave it a 4 on 5. I thought it was good. Thought it was a nice start to the album.
like it's nice.
It is nice, and for me, it's nice because it's everything I ask for. It's good beat, good lyrics, rapid flow. It's what I like. It's why I go to Strange Music. But
at this point, it's like 10 years plus of that. You know, I digress. The next one features Tech 9, which is dope. I like the fact that Tech like shows up on the guy's album. I mean, Eminem started doing that for his peeps.
I mean, Tech's always done that.
Which makes Tech real cool in that regard. Let's talk about Daylight. I feel like I shouldn't like this song as much as I like it, given everything I said about the last song. But this song's fucking nice. It's really like... It's like a step up in terms of it. Like, if you're gonna do the same, like, Strange Music thing... This is one of the, in my opinion, the more, like, I felt myself vibing to it, moving to it. The beat's kind of groovy in a kind of nice way. But what did you think about it? Because I talked a lot the last time, and I want to be an equal partner.
Okay, so I like this. I like the vibe. I like it. It kind of sounds a little bit like I've heard it before, something that I've heard Tech 9 do or Chris Calico do or whatnot. But it's got this nice little feel to it of like just trying to be honest.
The second verse is my favorite part, but you can go on.
So we start off, you got the intro, Tech 9's like, y'all ain't ready, boy, I only fuck with elites, homie, and Jehry Robinson is that, let's go. Which, I'm like...
Shut the fuck up,
been
Tech
telling
9.
us that you're all elites for years now.
Shut the fuck up. That's what I felt like when I hear that every single time. That's definitely part of why the song's not a 5.
So, girl, he starts off, girl, you got me tripping in a different kind of way. This is Jehry Robinson. Like, I don't
really
see
nice singy, like, oh, you got me tripping in it.
Yeah,
You know,
it's very
I know
nice.
I did
And
that bad, but
his diversity and his versatility and being able to sing and rap and kind of switch through is really, really nice. I don't see the darkness, only fucking with the daylight. I don't plan on stopping. You will never see the brake lights. Wanted you to run with stateless take, like... Don't really know what that means, but...
I mean, I just love that line. I don't see the darkness, only fucking with the daylight. Like, you may have problems or whatever, but when I'm with you, because he's talking to the girl, I see, like, the optimism and, like, I feel, like, lit up. Like, the proper... Like, I don't know, like, the focus on the good shit. I'm able to push myself harder. In a sense... I'm able to utilize the gas in the tank to optimize daylight.
But I don't know if this is...
It's not necessarily about a girl. It's, I think, more about his mindset.
Right, which I did enjoy. And then we go into the first verse, and it kind of felt a little bit the same from what we got before. Jehry starts off with, you already know that I'm the truth, dropped a couple racks to get the shoes, finally I'm paying my dues, couple $100,000 shot it in the booth. All right,
boring, but
kind of
fine.
same shit.
Look, I can accept the fact that, like, look, the day if I make it, I can't say I won't make a bunch of vapid shit talking about how successful I am now. So I say that as the guy who's not successful, but I would hope that I would resist that temptation.
Find a way to school, then I'll probably be like you, work a 9 to 5 like I want to die soon.
Now that I like.
Why?
Because I've gone through this little internal war with boring ass middle class normal, and everybody wants to be normal, which is just trying to be like a middle class loser to me. And everybody goes to school and studies this and blah blah. And you know what? When you meet a lot of people who've gone through university education, it's not everyone, but a lot of people, they're indoctrinated into like normalcy. Everyone behaves the same. Everybody thinks the same. Everybody acts the same. It's fucking boring. So I like the fact that he's like kind of looking for his own way out. Like, it's not just fuck school. It's fuck school. I'm a fucking tycoon. Fuck if I lose. Still roll up with a couple of my goons. Stab you with a fork if you come for my food. So it's this energy where I'm relentlessly going to hustle and pursue endeavors until I make it. On that, I can respect it. You know, came up from the porch. We got nothing to lose. Went out there and actually did some shit. So I like that. That had a little more substance. So it's not just I made money. It's I made money because I chose to take the risk to be different and live as though it was gonna happen.
Which is interesting how he kind of connects school with being the same and like not really kind of showing what I feel kind of showing to everybody like you got to make your own path and not really follow what everyone is. If you want to like go to school, if you want to go to school or whatnot, but like not just because you have to, more like I feel like he's trying to say like take control of your own life to succeed.
On the other hand, all right, heard it before. That's my only downside is I wish the concepts hit me in like in a new way, in some kind of new way that I never heard before that fucks me up. And I say that because the other album we're going to talk about this very like right after we're done this review did that for me. So I have a great example. In case you're wondering, it's Lil Darky's new project. That shit hit me up and talked about a lot of complicated subjects that got me real interested. Am I going to say it's better or worse? No, it's astronomically fucking different. But from a lyrics point of view, it's more interesting for me personally. However, when he goes his chorus, he sings it. I don't know. Did you like the hook? The chorus.
The hook was okay. I felt like it
it's
was
a chorus
something.
It repeats, but whatever.
Well, whatever. I felt like it was a very fluffy type of chorus, though. Like it wasn't anything that really stuck out. I feel like anybody could have made it. You know, I don't got the tie.
Especially when it goes $100,000 at the venue, cut the check. Like I'm like, who doesn't have a line like that now? I don't, but that's because I never made 100. Well, I mean, at like a venue. But I'm saying, like, the second anybody gets paid money to go to a fucking concert, it's like they rap about it. Just like the mainstream lean sipping rappers do. That whole chorus could have been a mainstream lean sipping chorus. Say, you know, we got the tie. Like, I mean, I'm not hating on it. I actually really like it.
Right.
But when you start off your last track dissing people, I don't think you should sound like the people you're dissing on the next track.
Makes sense.
But that second verse.
Then we get into the second verse. Jehry goes, hell yeah, I changed. Bitch, you think I worked this hard to stay the same?
Woof!
Gave my
Greatest
heart.
line on the album. I'm like, you said some shit that I'm like, nobody ever said that. Nobody, like a couple people have. But not enough. That was exciting. I'm like, fuck yeah, Jehry, spit your money game now. Do it all. I hope you watched this far. I really did. Because, man, I was like, okay, I'll shut the fuck up. I'm like, that's really dope. You know, like, I'm not even different. I'm not the same as I was. 21-year-old me would fucking hate 32-year-old me. Why? Because I care a lot about capitalistic endeavors. I literally put an Oculus on the table to floss that I own one and to say that if you guys want to hang out in VR, let's figure that out because I want to make that a thing for Behind That Suit in the future. So that's a tangent. So I get it, actually, because I work real hard. And so I really love that line, and it made me respect Jehry a lot. Like
I think it also continues on to like, you should aim to want to be different. You should aim to want to grow, and you know what? Work hard in whatever you choose to do. But as long as you're not the same as you were at the beginning of the year or something, like as long as you've grown in some way, I think that's what he's trying to say.
Do you know what I think my issue is? We'll follow it up. Gave my heart and made a name. No propane, still lit the flame. You are not lit. You will not win. You little bitch. Like, come on, dude. You sound like a wanker when you flip into that shit. And everybody sounds like a wanker. Like, it's 2020. We're at a point right now.
Circle of support, guys.
It's not that, but, like, this to me sounds like how it feels to watch an 80s movie when you're watching that really outdated comedy.
Okay.
Like, this is a 10-year-old gimmick of trying to diss other people, saying they're not hot, but not like, this isn't hip-hop competitiveness. This isn't like fucking fresh-ass bars describing why I'm the fucking best. This is just, I got my success and I worked really hard and fuck you, you little wimps can't handle it. That's not like this is not battle rap quality of anything. This is just,
I mean, in
What you
battle
would-
rap, you're supposed to kind of go at the person, so you're supposed to
No,
like.
but you're supposed to have your bars. You're supposed to have like a level of depth to what you're saying. It's supposed to be like you listen to it and you're like, this is undoubtedly great bars. I am hearing undoubtedly great delivery. And that line was really dope. And overall, like, it's not that the bars are bad, but like I'm in the car doing flips, getting nauseous. I don't even know if Tara told Tech yet. Either way, you gonna bet I'm the best bet. Invested in my nest egg, East Coast boy in the Midwest. Alright. That is a very forgettable series of lines. I mean, again, if you're really into the fast, tricky flows, which obviously everybody watching the review is going to be, because we're always talking to the fans, which is lukewarm experience when I'm like this. But the truth is, I want to see Jehry come in there and spit some fucking real content. Like, when I'm saying real content, I mean, do what you're doing here, because, yo, Jehry fucked me up with how versatile he is. Jehry fucked me up with how talented he is. I just wish he sounded less like a generic, strange music artist on this track. That's alright, though. Chorus comes through, and then, why did you run with stateless Tech like, say hi to the bigger homie when I spray it by? And I have to give Tech credit. Like, he brought his fucking A game on this verse. This is better than everything on his last project. His verse here. It's fucking delivery, like... You think you're stepping in front of me, then you may die. Totally killer in the way I lay my rhythm way high up and above a person like AI. I'm like, Tech, you're getting me here with your crazy rhythms and the way you're fucking flipping this shit. And it's better we stay goes if you never knew Tech and Nina cleverly play. And you know what? Again, it's not like Tech says the craziest shit because it's all about the rhyming patterns. But like I said, there needs to be the best at the guy who does the crazy rhyming fast shit, and it is Tech 9. None of the guys on Strange Music are better than Tech 9 at this. However, Jehry Robinson does a lot of other cool things that I think he does really well, like the melodies. And the next track, I have some interesting commentary, which I think Chris is going to... I don't know if he caught the same things. We'll see when we get there. Anyway, I like it when he said, if you think you knew better, then I'm a Jeffrey Bezos coming for cheddar, bro. I'm a predator. You don't want none of it. What is what I say to competitors. I'm like, I don't know if I'd call myself a predator in any context in 2020. I digress. I love the fact that he compared himself to Jeffrey Bezos because that's awesome. Overall, look, this is fine, man. This is a 4.5 because it's the kind of flossy, upbeat track I would never listen to the words on. I would just let that shit play. I would be on my elliptical or something. And will get me pumped up. I want to see this live because it would get me pumped up. It has everything but bars that are really dope. 4.5 on 5.
It's a 4 on 5 for me, dude.
I know, but it really hit me in that, like, maybe I was just craving a good, strange song.
I was impressed by how Tech 9 came in and really brought the A game, but I'm just like...
I was impressed by how Jehry's versatile. Because the fact that he doesn't sound like the other Jehry that we just heard.
Absolutely,
It's like
and I do give him that credit.
Like, he could be 7 guys on one album and play like 7 different voices for every role. And that would be fucking cool.
I see that.
Instead. Anyway, the next track is fucking fun though. So we give our grades here. I don't really have an ego in this. Trash me in the comments, folk. I'm going to say something now, Chris. I want to know if you agree with me.
Oh my God.
Let's take that first verse.
Oh my God.
Does he not go from sounding like an Ed Sheeran clone to sounding like a Macklemore clone in one verse? Like half. Listen to that shit. Go after it. Put it on. That's like my Ed Sheeran voice. Like when I'm trying to do, like when Ed Sheeran does like his singy rap shit.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the first half of this verse is in terms of sound. Then he becomes Macklemore. And I realized that's the best Macklemore verse I've heard since Behind That Suits existed.
Oh my God.
I just took some serious shots at Macklemore because he's trash now.
I mean, Gemini wasn't the greatest album.
And with that single with 13 songwriters on it that came out after.
What?
Yeah, he had a single drop, like some shit. That's the point. Nobody cares about Macklemore anymore. But this was the best fucking Macklemore verse I have heard in a while. So thank you, Jehry. I'm not trying to be a hater. Also, did you guys know that Jehry Robinson's description on Genius, I don't know who put it here, is just another corny wigger. When did my boy Jehry start to rap? And then it has a picture of the Rick and Morty guy, just like that. And I was like, that's harsh. That's harsh. I don't know who did that, but I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Either way, I just had to get that out. And then verse 2 is like this completely different reggae voice. And then the hook is also completely different. And
I like the hook though.
when I first listened to this song, I'm like, who'd he feature? I mean, I knew he didn't feature anybody,
Right.
but he could have featured 3 people,
Yeah.
and you'd believe it. And that's why this song is fucking crazy cool. Like, if he'd said he featured Ed Sheeran and Macklemore, though, I wouldn't have questioned it at first.
Right.
I might have, because it seemed like a really weird series of pop stars to work with, but I suppose at the end of the day, what am I going to do? What did you think of this track?
I thought it was cool. The whole tone switch up kind of threw me off a little bit, but it was nice to see that he's able to do that though. Like, his vocal range is really intense. Like, at least for somebody who I guess we consider a rapper or whatnot.
He's a rapper.
Like, right? He's able to pull off a lot of different styles of music, which is really, really nice, and I do appreciate that. And for me, I feel like this was just very consistent with what we've been getting. So we start off on verse 1. I got sunshine willing to lit the bit dark in my mind. But sometimes I think with Mar now my eyes, and most times I'm drinking because I caught it in a blind. You ever wake up with no paper asking God for a sign? Like, I feel like there's this, he's kind of giving us this struggle. He's trying to express how, you know, he kind of deals with certain things that go on in his head. Now, what I did come to realize is this is a really good song about getting the fuck over your ego. Like, really just letting it go and start to realize, like, you got to humble yourself and just focus on what you need to do and stop thinking and stop giving a fuck what, like, other people think and what really, like, what you perceive yourself to be or whatnot.
I gotta admit, this one's got some content. I really liked it. And maybe it might sound like whatever, but if your message is educational, instructional, or something that the general populace can listen to and learn from, there's no such thing as too much of that content in the world. Like, every rapper should have a song that is just this. Get over your ego. It's probably a smart choice. What we don't need is more guys talking about being rich and being better than me in not interesting ways. If you're going to say you're better than me, be interesting. Okay, I'm done. Go on, Chris.
No, I did like when he went trying to have you ever been the victor, got you sitting outside, trying to see the bigger picture, but you cannot recite. Got this vision in your head and you're not letting it die. It'll never get me alive, hope to defy. Heart of a lion, bitch, I'm a giant. Give you my pain and you decide if you buy it. Now, I really like how he's kind of just being, to me, he's being very honest. Like, he's just, I have a vision that I want to do and it's never going to leave me, so I need to get it out.
Love
I need
it.
to just do it. Which,
love it.
100% love it. But I also like how he's kind of expressing, like, I can't, like, just because I believe in myself, I have to keep working to see if you guys are going to buy what I make, if you guys really choose to listen and whatnot. And I feel like he's also trying to call out to people who are ready to listen to him. Like, just, if you don't like it, he doesn't care. If you like it and you feel the vibe, we're good to go, and we can all be that together, which is something really, really cool. But there wasn't much for me here. Like, I was just, this is dope. The message was pretty straightforward. I took a lot more from the hook. So leave your ego on your doorstep. Find your course.
I think it's find your cause and follow through. Don't let your evil make you forget. It's still important. I saw you. We're more than ordinary, more than ready. Okay. It's also heavy now. Just let the rain go wash it out. I can entertain a crowd.
Now, the only thing that, like, I thought would have been cool is if he would have flipped it to, like, you, like, trying to make it a little bit more generic, trying to be more, like, embodying, like, other people.
I don't know. It's like a kind of reflective thing. It's like, you know, just saying to anyone, leave your ego at this doorstep when you deal with me. You know, like, be on this wavelength. It's saying, like, okay, I found my way to this wavelength. This is the wavelength we all need to be on. In a sense, it's like wave dashing. But yeah, I like the fact that it just kind of lets it out that let it all go away. And the fact that you can end up at this point of being an entertainer like that is just magical almost. And you got the second verse.
I fought bad times with little bit of light in my life. Due to sad times, keep putting up to fight for my rights. At mad times, I thought I'd be dead by 25. You ever woke up with no paper asking God for a sign?
And I like that. I like this one. This whole song, like, I feel like I'm getting to know his past a little bit. I'm feeling like there's a bit of an appreciation for who he is. And, like, the fact that he went through a lot of hard times and ended up with Get Over Yourself. That's, like, fucking mad adult of you. Respect, Jehry.
What if it was all a lie, got you falling behind? Have you ever been a soldier just at war with your mind, trying to see through all the madness, but you broke in your stride? Got this vision in your head and you're not letting it die.
Yeah, then it's repetitive.
Right.
And then it just kind of fades out. And I like the fact that it's I don't like the fact that we have repetition. This song could have done with a little more non-repetition there, but
I think for an educational purpose, he's really just trying to drive home the message of, like, we'll drop your ego and focus on what you got to do.
you could have done it with more, like, personal anecdote or,
Yeah.
like, 1,000 other fucking ways.
Fair enough.
I give it a 4.5 because it's nice. It could have been great. It was very close to, like, solidly great. It's a great, don't get me wrong, it's 4.5. I really enjoyed it, but I think it's a lot because I agree with, like, the core message. It has an energy to it, but it's also drastically different than the other two that we've heard, and I kind of like this one. I could see myself actually just, like, throwing this on when I want to feel better, and that's cool.
I give it a 4 on 5.
I get the feeling this album is not Curse's favorite. And that's okay. We didn't buy it, so there are no refunds. I feel like he goes and follows up that reggae tone that he had in the last track, and the whole song's going with this reggae tone.
Which is nice.
Until we get reggae tone means triple extentation. When he starts, like, screaming, and I'm like, that's interesting. That sound, like, I'm like, okay, you got me. So let's just take a quick second here and discuss how the 4 tracks showcase such a wide range of vocal talent and ability from Jehry Robinson. It's fucking cool. Like, is it Jehry? Jehry? I think I've been saying it wrong.
It's Jehry.
Whatever. It's fucking cool. Like, just how different all 4 songs. Like, it was more so than what Tech and Chris brought on their albums.
But I think he's also a newer artist, right? So I think, like, Tech and Chris aren't really looking to show diversity. They're really just kind of putting out their own.
I don't know if I agree with that. But I think that they have a lot more hard time finding new because they've been around. But this is like a calling card. Like, I can do, like, 8 styles here. Holla at me for your feature. That's what I feel comes out from this one. Like, it's so well, like, put together. You know, life got no refunds. We only got time to pass by. No rhyme or reason. You'll never let the past define your time. I'm like, what? I mean, like, I get the sentiment. He's trying to imply, like, you gotta leave the past in the past and move forward or whatever. But I could straight up say the past is a huge part of how I define my current time, because I learned from the past on the ways I wasted time, and I use that to define how not to waste time in the present. Maybe I'm overthinking this one, but I don't know if I agree whatever with that sentiment 1,000%. We've got no refunds. We only got time to pass by it, and all I ever wanted was the truth. Obvious that ain't shit to you. I don't know who he's talking to with that.
I think it's just the idea of, like, you gotta just keep moving forward. With the first couple of lines, right? No rhyme or reason. You'll never let the past define your time. I understand what you're saying. I think it's more or less he's kind of taking it in a way of, like, right now you're in a moment and you have to just kind of be present with that moment and not kind of seep back into whatever happened back then. Like, you have to kind of, like, let that go.
So I can appreciate how you want to let go of past behaviors that hold you back, but the way you word it is weird to me.
Absolutely. And then life got no refunds. We only got time to pass by, and all I've ever wanted was the truth.
Who was he talking to?
But I think it's like the global ideal of what's the answer of life. Like,
obviously,
what is
no, that's fine, but obviously that ain't shit to you. Who?
I guess just generally everybody. So take the idea, and this is super hypothetical, right? But take the idea of, like, everybody just wanting to live a mundane life and doesn't really care about the secrets or whatnot, and we're just told to do what we have to do and just get up, live, and die, and blah, blah, blah. He's kind of saying, I feel like he's going, like, there's more to life than what we do every day, and y'all obviously don't give a fuck about what's more out there.
Sure. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's probably what he means, but it's a weak argument.
Fair enough.
In general, because like, I don't know. It just seems kind of like top level. When half your album's pretty vapid, it just seems like it just feels like that faux smart shit people say. And I'm not saying that's what it is. I get the sentiment being that like I'm trying to stay in the truth of the moment and blah blah blah. But I guess that's what he's saying. Anyway, can't take back the time we wasted to respect the time that we've taken. We know validation. Entry only made me famous. Wasted tech, no location. The basic for your that vibration. Okay. And again, I'm no fucking idea who he's talking to, or who is he mad at, like the music industry? Is he mad at like a girlfriend? It's just so fucking vague to me, and I don't understand. Do you understand?
I feel like he's literally just talking about time. Can't take back the time that we wasted. Absolutely. That's gone. It's in the past. To respect the time that we've taken. So, I feel like... But, like... It's... Okay, so if you take in, whatever, 2 hours of your day to work on a project...
I get that part of it. But what is the point of this? We know validation. Entry only made me famous.
So his entry-level skill, his first project...
Okay. Wasted tech, no location, the basic for your that vibration.
I can't defend that.
So in that sense, I guess I have a lot of skill. People aren't taking me seriously. I don't know. Like, oh no, I be coming for my son, yeah. $50,000, make a motherfucker blind, bet I can knock your ass as long as you don't come from mine. I be sitting on the sidelines with my pom-poms. You don't really want to try my mind, so flip all night and write all day. Finally kissing my time. Never took the credit for shit I didn't do it, so this right here is mine, and all I ever wanted was the truth. Obviously it ain't shit to you. It sounds like he's mad at somebody who maybe is not living like honorably or something, but I guess he just sounds like he's super legitimate and he keeps it real and he's not wasting the time before him and he's focused on his authenticity or whatever. And other people, maybe those lean-sipping rappers, are fake and just diluting his industry. Like, I can't figure it out. It's so not direct. Hey, can I get a little piece? Yeah, 50,000 in the streets. Hey, thinking different, like I'm sitting in the middle. Had to hit him with the rhythm of the beat. Had to hit a little keep, maybe get a little geek. No refunds, girl. You gotta let me breathe. We living in the dream. We ain't even gotta sleep. It's game time, baby. You can go and get your cleats. Preach.
So that's where I think he's like, this is where the song would be talking to somebody who's wasting his time.
I feel like that's what the whole song's about. Like, somebody's wasting time, and I don't think anything he said there was overly interesting or like stuck with me. It was kind of like, all right. And the fact that he sold 4,000 albums in the streets though is like respectable. So if he could have made that 50K in the streets off that, right? $20 per 4, that's $5,000 if I'm not mistaken. So, like, that's a legit fucking fair statement to say. And on that note, it's cool, but, like, I guess his music distributed like drug. All of this is just not sounding super interesting to me. This whole song seems vague. I love the sound of it. However, there is a comment saying that the lyrics are incorrect on Genius, so maybe some of what we've quoted here is incorrect. But I had the same feeling while I was listening to the song, because I don't like follow the lyrics when I listen. I just reference the lyrics when I do the review. I don't know. I like the vibe. I like the energy. I like the diversity. But I don't know. I give it a 4.35. I feel like it was very generous on this album. But like 4.35.
I felt like it was more just throwing it back into that whole, like, these are, like, the calling card, like you said. This is the different styles and the different things I could do. This is, it's not a bad song. I like the whole reggae feel. I like the tone switch. I like his little vibe. I kind of just feel like his message is clearly, you only got one life to live. Try to make the best of it because there is no refunds. You can't go back. You can't restart. When shit happens, you got to leave it in the past and move on. I feel like that's like the generic message he's giving, but me too, I kind of just was like, it didn't, I don't know. I don't know.
It's
kind of where I felt. I left it with a 4. I mean, it was all good. And that pretty much wraps up the review there.
Yeah, I mean, this project to me is a well-rounded showcase of the different vocal styles and ways that Jehry Robinson can approach a song. I think on 2020 Chapter 1, I learned that he's versatile. I learned that he has some semblance of political views when he wants to drop them, but mostly he sounds like a strange music kind of guy from a content perspective. And I would really hope to hear more stuff like the Ego song. That was my favorite track. I mean, outside of the obvious inspirations and his flow choices, that song at least approached it from like a mature, grown-up kind of way, and I like that. Whereas the other three kind of came off like they could have been anybody who wrote them from a content perspective, not from a sound perspective, because I really like the way he blends with Seven, because there's more to it. Like there's the lyrics, there's the flow, there's the beat. The mixing and mastering was very shiny, but I kind of like the shininess for Strange Music. I expect it at this point, so I'm okay with that. It was a solid project. I give it a 4 point. I'm gonna give it a 4.3 on 5 as an album, because it's a good showcase. But the honest truth is, I'll be really surprised if I really find myself remembering these songs in 6 weeks. Like, I'm gonna remember them next week, but in a month, 2 months, after I've heard a flood of new music, I don't know that there's a lot sticky here. This was like, Strange Music fans are gonna eat this shit up, and they're gonna make fun of me in the comments like they normally do. And I hope, Jehry Robinson, if you do watch it, you don't think I'm a hater, dude, because I respect the shit out of you. I just like what I like. What about you?
I gave the album a 4 on 5. I mean,
oh shit.
like, just every track got a 4. I like this, and I like it, and I think it's because I'm biased. I do like Strange Music. I do like what they produce, all of the artists. I like his flow, his skill, his diversity, and his versatility in terms of just music, and he really kind of understands music in a different way, which is very interesting. But I agree, though, after 6 weeks from now, when we've done more reviews, I don't know if I'm going to be like remembering this in a conversation, or if I'm going to come back to this.
Yeah. So. And it's, again, no disrespect. I bet there's a lot of 16 to 22-year-olds that are going to eat this shit up like it's candy. So on that note, congrats for making a successful pop-sounding album to my old OK Boomer ears. Thank y'all for watching our review. This is what we do here. Let us know in the comments what you think. It's good to be back, everybody. I missed y'all. Special thanks. Oh, yeah, subscribe, like, comment, dislike, whatever the fuck you want. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricanes, Linda Williams, Cody Sparks, and Scribble. I just like saying Scribble. That's a fucking fun name. They're dubbed. They support what we do. Helped us get a new camera. Helped us get on the Spotify and stuff. They're going to help us with many more things over the course of this year, because they're all wonderful people. Plus, they tell us what albums they want to review. I know, DJ Black Hurricane, that you got a review coming real soon. And then if you want us to review a specific album, this is a great way for it to happen. So, like, your cousin's mixtape is totally something we'd review if you join us over there, is all I'm trying to say. We also make music, as in Chris and myself. You can catch that on the channel. I got a new album I'm working on. I released one in October. Let me know what you think. And happy 2020, everybody. And guess what? I don't have 2020 vision, so I'm forced to live long and prosper, everyone.